Good morning, everybody. Joel Rose with Caliber Home Loans. This is another edition of my mortgage selfie series. Today we're going to talk about an author by the name of Andy Andrews. Andy wrote a book called The Butterfly Effect. The butterfly effect, in essence, was discovered by a physicist in the 1960s, and he presented this to the New York Academy of Science. What the theory was that a butterfly on the west coast of the United States flapping its wings had an impact on something, anything, on the other side of the world. And of course, he was laughed out of the academy at the time. But later, in the late 90s, his theory was actually proven. So you have to think about that in terms of the interrelationship between the butterfly and the molecules that are put into motion by the wings flapping. It sounds kind of crazy that would have some sort of impact on other living beings, but let's test out that theory a little bit. In Andy Andrews' book, he talked about a Civil War colonel, I believe it was Colonel Joshua Chamberlain for the Union Army. And Chamberlain, if for those of you who know history, was in charge of a regiment from the state of Maine. And they were on Little Round Top in Gettysburg on day 2 of the Battle of Gettysburg. And Chamberlain's line started out with some 300 people. He was repelled a charge. The Confederates came back again with a second charge. He repelled that charge. They came back a third and a fourth time, each time being repelled. By the fifth charge, or between the fourth and the fifth charge, the ammunition was spent. Chamberlain ordered his men to collect the ammunition from those that were dead, and they replied that we've already done that. So that was the ammunition that we had for the last volley. At that time, the Confederates were regathering and commencing their charge, and Chamberlain was on the end of the defensive line, and he only had about 80 people remaining as the Alabama troops came up the hill of Little Round Top towards them. And he was faced with a decision. They could run or be overrun, or they could go on the offensive. And with that, he ordered his folks to fix bayonets and charged in the form of a great right wheel. And so from the right side of his line, they wheeled from the right to the left like a closing door, with the left side being the hinge. And they were able to capture 400 enemy troops, and they stopped the Confederate advance that day, and he did that all with the remaining 80 people that he had. So, many people look at that battle as the turning point in the Civil War. Or for those of you from the South, the War of Northern Aggression. Had Chamberlain not made that decision, it's very likely that the Union troops would have been overrun. They would have been able to flank the line and roll up the line of Union defenses and win the day, and more than likely win what Northerners call the Civil War. Can you imagine the catastrophic impact that would have on the world today if the United States ceased to be on the 2nd of July in 1864? That would have been a pretty significant change in how we do things today, and everything that's happened since that time to this point in time. So you can see how that one man's decision to fix bayonets had a butterfly effect on the rest of humanity and mankind. When asked about that, though, and this is what I think is more pertinent to loan officers, all of it interrelates, but Chamberlain was faced with a choice. The choice of action or inaction. And when given the choice between those two things, action is always the choice to take. We're fortunate today, as we sit here, in that he did take that action. So, all of this put together, what does that really mean to you as an originator? Every day you walk into an office or you get up in the morning getting ready for work, and you have a choice. You can put your best foot forward and make that call to that agent that you wanted to talk to but were afraid to. You can do a number of different things. But the most important thing to do is to create some sort of activity. And in doing that, you will always give yourself a better chance of an appropriate or satisfying outcome for you. By doing nothing, you don't advance your cause or anyone else's. So as Chamberlain did, he took the appropriate action, fixed bayonets, and charged down the hill, setting the course of history for us. I hope you've enjoyed today's Mortgage Selfie Minute. This is Joel Rose with Caliber Home Loans. As always, we're looking for loan officers and branch managers in the Carolinas. If you'd like to talk to me about an opportunity, please take a few minutes to either email me or contact me on my cell phone on my LinkedIn page. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.